So just before I get started, just to know, how many international students are here today? Right, very good. How many French students are here today? Okay, great, welcome. So it's an international crowd, and this is really much the symbol of Sciences Po's identity, as you're going to see. So first of all, we're going to start with the figures regarding Sciences Po today, a little bit of numbers so as to give you the main idea about who we are. So Sciences Po, we welcome 14,000 students from undergrads to PhD students. 49% of them are international students with, and this is the important figure, it's 150 nationalities that are represented. So it's not just that we have international students, you can see how many nationalities are inside our walls, and so how interesting this can become when you're in a class with so many students from different cultures and educational backgrounds. Out of those students, 26% receive financial support. And again, this is something in Sciences Po's policy that we really want to develop, which is financial support so as for our students to study in the best conditions. Regarding our faculty, something else which is very much a specificity for Sciences Po is that we welcome academic staff amongst the best researchers in France and the world, and also for 4,500 adjunct faculty coming from different spheres, and most of them are practitioners. So in our faculty, you've got the academics and the practitioners, so as for us to give some teaching that really combine practice and theory, which is something very important in our pedagogy. We also welcome 350 PhD students who are going to become professors afterwards, and they're welcome in 11 research units. We will focus in the presentation also on how international we are, but just to sum up, we have 478 partner universities across the world, to which we can actually send students, our exchange students, and welcome exchange students from those universities. But we also tied some dual degree programs with them, and I'll go into that in a few minutes. And regarding our alumni, we have 80,000 alumni across the world working in different fields. And just a figure which is important for you because you're about to start your master education, 87% of our graduates find a job in less than 6 months, which is a figure important when you see the job market how it is today. So why choose Sciences Po? Sciences Po, as you must know, or you will know at the end of the day, is a leading institution in the humanities and social sciences. And our education is really designed so as to give our students knowledge, of course, but especially the tools so as to understand major world issues and develop critical thinking. We really believe in the fact that the disciplines and the subjects that we're developing in humanities and social sciences will lead students to understand better the world and very complex issues, and so act in a very founded manner. Why choose Sciences Po? Because we have a very strong international focus. It's not just the students' body, the faculty body, but it's also the way we study topics in a very global way, international focus. As we were saying, it's also a faculty which is very rich in its diversity. And then after Sciences Po, students can choose a very wide range of job prospects. And this is definitely something that you must be interested in when you start your master program. It's that we'll go into which are our schools and what students do afterwards, but it's incredibly wide. So it gives you a lot of different opportunities, and especially this luxury today, which is to choose the field that you want to work in. And then afterwards, something that we're always proud to say, which is that Sciences Po is ranked 3rd internationally in politics and international studies in the QS World University Ranking. So to go, so as to explain to you what kind of education Sciences Po gives to the students, to sum up, we've got all the different levels of higher education. First of all, the undergrad so undergraduate programs, and Sciences Po has 7 different campuses across France, and those programs, undergraduate programs outside Paris, are all specialized on different geographical zones. So they have a special focus on different geographical zones of the world with special language, intensive language courses. Then we have the graduate and what we call the graduate schools. So all of our masters are organized around 7 different schools, and I'll come into that with more detail in a minute. And then afterwards, of course, we've got our doctoral school preparing for our students for PhDs in our 5 different programs, which are really much the pillars of Sciences Po's education, which are law, economics, history, political science, and sociology. But if you're here today, I think it's more for the masters. So let's go into the master programs and the different schools that we created here in Sciences Po. So as I was saying, there are 7 different schools. In those schools, we have 29 different programs. So there's a very wide range of choice. Those programs are organized around, most of them, and then we'll come into that later also, organized around 4 semesters, so 2 years, 4 semesters, and most of them, it's 3 semesters of teaching here in Sciences Po and 1 semester of internship. And then we also have 8 apprenticeship master's programs, so it means that the students can actually work alongside their studies, and so the studies are organized around that special schedule of them. The 5 PhD programs can also be started. Our doctoral school has master programs, so as for students to prepare for those PhDs that they would lead afterwards, but it's also those master programs, a lot of their students from the doctoral school actually choose to go and go into a professional career after that. Not all of them, it's not an obligation to continue with their PhDs, but we do have 5 master programs very much dedicated to preparing students with research methodology. And then I know that a lot of you are going to be interested in those. We have international dual degrees. We have 21 of them. And this is a wonderful experience where students would choose to apply to those programs and then spend 1 year in Sciences Po here in Paris, and then 1 year in our partner university. And after those 2 years, they actually get the 2 master degrees. So these are very interesting programs. Very selective and incredibly popular amongst our students. And we also have 9 dual degrees with French universities. So of course you need to master the French language also, but these are very interesting programs that I will detail in a few minutes. So 7 schools. Our schools are very much oriented towards a specialization regarding the job market. We've got, first of all, the School of Public Affairs, which is, for the French people, usually this is a very well-known school because they prepare for different civil service exams. We have also the School of International Affairs, also known as Paris School of International Affairs, PSIA, who was there just before our presentation. Also our law school, the School of Journalism, the School of Management and Innovation, the Urban School, and then the Doctoral School. So as you see, they're all specialized on different fields, but each of them actually open to a wide range of job options after this education. As I was telling you, most of them are based on a 2-year program with 1 year of internship. There are some exceptions. For example, the law school is very much a very intensive program, so it's really four semesters of intensive studying, but most of them are around 3 semesters of studying and then 1 semester of internship. And then we also have a different offer of masters, which are the 1-year master's programs. So those 1-year master programs are designed for young professionals. So if you want to apply, you need at least 3 years. It can depend from one school to the other, but usually it's between 3 years and 5 years of professional experience so as to apply. So they're really designed. They're really designed for students who have had a professional experience, and sometimes they want to specialize on one topic, or sometimes they want to complement their education with a different specialty. So sometimes we can have, for example, students who are engineers, who worked in engineering for a few years, and who want to be specialized on global issues, international affairs, for example. So those one-year master's programs are offered in our different schools. So you've got one in Master in Public Affairs, another one in Advanced Global Studies in our International Affairs School, Master in Corporate Strategy. We'll also offer an LLM on Transnational Arbitration and Dispute Settlement in our law school, and a Master in Arts and Politics. We also prepare during those masters for competitive exam preparation. So these are what I was mentioning a few minutes ago. These are for the French students here, or the concours, usually to go, for example, in French civil service. So we've got those special preparation for the ENA, the National Assembly, Senate, the City of Paris. But we also have very intensive preparation for jobs in the European Union institutions, as the European Parliament, the European Council, etc. Then we prepare also for the competitive exam of the École nationale de la magistrature, for the ones who want to go in law, also the French École nationale supérieure de police, the École des officiers de la gendarmerie nationale, and of course we prepare for the agrégation. So this is a very French pass also for teaching examinations in history and geography. And one specificity of Sciences Po is that we've got very good rates of success for students who want to go into those very selective programs after their education in Sciences Po. So after Sciences Po, career opportunities. I was saying that the path can be very diverse. Actually, if you look at our alumni and you look at some of the names of students who actually sat on those very same benches as you are today, of course we can give you the names of different presidents of France, ministers. Emmanuel Macron, Edouard Philippe are amongst them, for example, Chirac also. So the people who wanted to specialize in politics, but also international politicians studied in Sciences Po. So, and then you can see different personalities who led organizations like Christine Lagarde, but you can also see Marcel Proust, who went through Sciences Po's education, Christian Dior. So it means that you've got different profiles, and especially this is what I was saying, the Sciences Po education opens doors, and then for us the important thing is that our students can choose the path that they want to take and be successful and be able to develop skills and develop their initiatives. So Sciences Po prepares students for different spheres, as I was saying. 70% of them actually choose the private sector after their graduation. 20% of them choose the public sector, whether it be in France or internationally. And 10% of them choose international organizations. And the important figure also that we want to show you today is the job insertion rate. 87% of our students actually find jobs in less than 6 months after their graduation. But amongst those 87%, around 44% of them actually got a job before even graduating. And this is thanks usually to that structure of our programs, giving the opportunity for students to either do a gap year between their first year of masters and second year of masters, but especially to go into an internship during their third semester or fourth semester, depending on the school that you would have chosen. So basically, during their internship, they find their jobs, and the employers wait for them so as to give them a permanent job just after their graduation, which we think is a very good success and very good opportunity for our students. And as you're an international crowd, do you know that 1 out of 3 of our students actually choose to start their careers outside the borders of France? Of course, a lot of international students do choose to stay in France for a few years and start their careers in France. If you want to have more information regarding the jobs and the career opportunities that are opened by Sciences Po's education, we do have a special division which is specialized in accompanying students so as to find those internships, so as to discuss about career opportunities, which is called Sciences Po Carrière. And you can actually find more on the Sciences Po Careers website. And they follow our graduates very closely, and they do an assessment every single year so as to know where our students who graduated 2 years ago, what they are doing. As promised, I'm going to focus almost as a conclusion of the presentation on the international experience that you would be able to meet here in Sciences Po. So again, let's go back into some of the numbers. Alongside the 49% of our international students and the 150 nationalities represented, we also welcome exchange students, which means I told you about the number of partner universities we had in Sciences Po, which means that many of our students, all of our third year, so this is for the undergraduates, all of our third year are abroad. For the master programs, you can also choose to go for a semester abroad. So we've got this incredible range of different offers of partner universities. We have them across the world, which is a very good opportunity for our students. Of course, in the US, it's really amongst the best US universities as Harvard, Princeton, Columbia, Georgetown, universities in California as Berkeley, Stanford, etc. Many of them in the UK as LSE, Oxford, Cambridge, King's, Warwick. A lot of them in Latin America, amongst the best in Latin America. Many of them in European Union and Asia and Australia. And we welcome also exchange students from those universities who are going to spend in Sciences Po 1 semester or a year. If it's masters, usually it's 1 semester. So it's again a very good opportunity for our students to mingle with different students coming from different backgrounds who would have different experiences. International, because we teach 25 languages here in Sciences Po. Many of our students speak different languages coming in. Either they can continue and develop those language skills or pick another language amongst a choice of 25. This is what we teach in Sciences Po, but we also have a special partnership with the INALCO, which is a school in Paris which is very much specialized on languages. And there they have a very wide range of languages that they teach, and we have a partnership, so students who want to specialize can go there to follow their language courses. International, because we also have partnerships so as for visiting professors to visit. So it's again a very good exchange where our professors can go and teach in different partner universities, and we receive and we welcome other professors coming from the partner universities I was telling you about. So they can come. They have a very intensive partnership with our researchers in research, but they're very active in teaching our own students also. And then we've got the 30 dual degree programs with the most prestigious universities. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes on those because I know that amongst you, a lot of them are interested in those dual degree programs. So just to remind you what I was saying at the beginning of the presentation, those double degree programs for almost all of them are really based on 1 year in Sciences Po, first year in Sciences Po of master, second year in the partner university. So in France, as I was telling you, there are many different dual degree programs. Many of them are specialized on with engineering schools, but also with the École du Louvre, for example, which is a very interesting partnership for students who want to specialize in history and public affairs and also want to have a specialization in history of art so as to afterwards maybe go so as to be directors of museums, for example. But we also have a double master with HEC, as you know, which is in corporate and public management. Afterwards, we've got dual degrees in Europe with the Freie Universität, with LSE, with Bocconi, with St. Gall, with Moscow State University, with Stockholm, with King's College, with the RT School of Government in Berlin, and Max Planck Institute. And those dual degrees are very popular amongst the students. And as you see, they're all specialized on different fields. So if you're interested in them, really look up the school that welcomes those dual degree programs. They're very much specialized for cohorts, which are pretty small, so you've got a very good cohort kind of spirit. And so you get to spend 1 year in France and 1 year in one of those countries. We also have a dual degree in Africa with Strathmore University, led by our School of Management and Innovation, and also our School of International Affairs. And then dual degree programs in America, in the Americas. So if we look at the US, of course, Columbia is definitely a very strong partner of ours. Also with the Monk School of Global Affairs in Toronto, Georgetown Law School, the UPenn, and also with Colegio de México, or with Brazil, or Northwestern University. Last but not least, we offer dual degree programs in Asia with Fudan University, Peking University, the University of Tokyo, and Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. So you see how many opportunities you can have. Sciences Po is already very international, but this is definitely very interesting programs that you can apply to. So now, if you want to go into admissions guidelines, first of all, I just want to stress that you can find the admission division in 28 Rue des Saints-Pères. I think you've got a map. It's really 2 minutes away in one of our other buildings of Sciences Po, where you can meet all of our admission officers, and they will be very happy to answer any of your questions. But so as to sum it up for you, there are 3 main procedures of admission to our master programs. First of all, the one that we call the French graduate procedure. And again, be careful, it's not based on the nationality, it's based on the nationality of your undergraduate diploma. So if you're an applicant and you hold a degree of a French university, it's the equivalent of a licence. If you have 180 ECTS, you can apply to those master programs online. Otherwise, it's the international graduate procedure. So this is for applicants who have completed their university education in a non-French university. Okay, so even if you're from a French origin and you hold a French passport, if you studied abroad and you hold a bachelor degree of an international university, you can apply through that procedure. And then for the 1-year master's programs, you have to have completed your undergraduate degree, usually, and this is why you really have to look up, depending on the program you want to apply to, it's either 3 to 5 years of professional experience required. And just a quick note for the ones who want to apply to the LLM, you do need a law degree beforehand. And then, except for one of the masters, which is Master en Arts et Politique, you do need to have a very good English level, so to be bilingual, so as to apply to those master programs. Finally, to conclude with tuition fees and financial aid, how it's done in Sciences Po, the fees for master students can go up to 14,500 euros. And this is for international students outside of the EU, mainly. But then if you're a European citizen, or if your fiscal, or usually your parents' fiscal residence is inside the European Economic Area, the fees will depend of your parents' income. And this is where it can go from 0 up to the maximum, which is 14,500. Again, our divisions are here to answer any of your queries if you've got questions regarding this. And then for the tuition fees and scholarships, we do have a very strong scholarship program also in Sciences Po. Almost 4 out of 10 students receive a scholarship or financial support here in Sciences Po. So if you're from the European Union, there's of course the CRUS, which is a national plan for scholarship. And we've got also Émile Boutmy scholarship for international students. So this is if you're outside if you're an international student outside of the European Economic Area, you can apply to that BUTMI scholarship. BUTMI is the name of this lecture hall, and it's because it's the name of our founder. So you can apply so as to have fees either completely paid for or part of it paid for. And you can also apply to many other different scholarships depending on your nationality, the academic program, and you can really find more on that website. So just to conclude, the program is, you can find it actually printed out outside. Otherwise, following my presentation, you've got different schools actually presenting, and I think if you're interested, especially in one of them or hesitating between two, I really advise you to go because you can meet the staff. They also come with students, and usually I know that for the students amongst you, it's always very good to speak to a peer or someone who's just a year older than you and who's following that program. And then you can also find them in the different classrooms up there if you want to see them and have a one-to-one conversation with them. For the admission procedures, I really advise you to go to the 28 Rue des Saints-Pères. So as you can see, we've got this little map. And otherwise, if you want to listen to the different deans or executive deans, we also have on our websites videos of them explaining the programs and Sciences Po's education. So I really wish you the best for this open doors of Sciences Po. Welcome to that institution, and I wish you a very nice and enriching day. Thank you.